I met today's guest 10 years ago when I was teaching in Laurea, the University of Applied Sciences. Afterwards, we met again, sharing the joy of coordinating with others the network of designers working in the public sector in Finland. Taina Martikainen is a designer committed to the good quality of design work. She works for Kela, the social insurance institution of Finland. She's a trustable and fun colleague with whom it has been a pleasure to collaborate for many years. In this interview, we talk about the design of an experiment to better serve the needs for vulnerable young people. This is part of the series in which I interview designers working in the Finnish public sector, or on national or municipal level. 5 years ago, we created a network of designers working in the public sector, so we know each other from this network. We have a vibrant community of peer learning, and I'm super thankful about it. I see this series as an effort to document our work. My name is Mariana Salgado. This is Diseño y Diáspora.
My name is Taina Martikainen. I work as a lead service designer in Finnish company called Kela. That is the social insurance institution of Finland.
And what do they do in Kela?
Yes, Kela provides social security coverage for Finnish residents and also many Finns that are living abroad. Kela's social security includes, for example, basic economic security for families and with children, health insurance. Also, the companies pay that insurance to Kela to cover the social security to Finns.
And it's how big organization Kela?
Kela, there is over 8,000 employees in Kela, and last year Kela has paid social benefits around 60 billion euros.
Wow, it's big. And
big.
What's your role there?
I work as a lead service designer in a unit called Nationwide Customer Service, and that is the biggest unit in Kela. There is over 6,000 employees in that unit.
Wow. And what does it mean to be a lead service designer? Concretely, when you go there, what do you do?
Well, I do basic service design projects, but I also carry the community for the Kela's in-house service designers network. That we have these ongoing meetings in every Wednesday that we care and share each other's projects, and by doing that we want to
learn from each other, no?
Yes, we try to learn from each other and also to raise the level of maturity of design understanding. The work is done in silos, and we try to get more design thinking and more customer-oriented way of thinking in Kela.
And how many designers do you have?
We have over 12 designers that work as service designers, but of course there is plenty of those that work as a designer role, and they have responsibilities that are related also to customer-oriented way of working.
So you are a big team in this network, no? If you have 12 designers and you have a tight relationship if you are meeting.
Yes, and also there is 2 other lead service designers that have bigger role in Kela's design thinking, and also there is this strategical level of designers, and there is 2 strategic designers working in Kela too.
And these strategic designers, they are the one informing the managers, directors?
Yes, and also they are providing vision work for the management.
Like future.
Yes.
They are thinking in how it's going to be Kela delivering services in 10 years or 20 years. That's super interesting. I will at some point interview these designers.
Yes.
So what are the projects you are working at the moment?
Well, currently I'm working for a long time with the project related to young people that have stayed at home for a long time and they have difficulties to find their place in their lives and in Finnish society.
So, but this it means that they don't have like a place to study and they don't have a place to work, right?
Yes, they have no incomes and they might have some healthy issues. And this is why they have been, they need all kind of support also from other parties also that Kela. And we have tried to find a way to support better these young people because in business-wise we have find this customer group good to be taken care of. So we don't have other. En minä nyt osaa tangertaa tätä.
I can ask you. So these young people, are they already your clients in the sense that are they asking for support or you are kind of proactive and trying to deliver to them certain services or certain benefits that they might not know that they exist?
We have found these people during, we have done the data analysis and we doing that we have found these young people. We have created more understanding that these should be helped better, and we in this spring we have made an experiment that took care about these youngsters, and we have found that when Kela is more proactive with these youngsters who have been a long time with no incomes.
And what was the experiment about? What did you do?
We created hoitomalli.
Like a care model.
Yes, we created a care model that supported different young people in better way, and we were more proactive, and we were providing more help.
Like a holistic way of supporting them?
We create a model that gives young people more holistic support in their current life. Se niin kuin elämäntilanne.
In their situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
In their life situation where they are in, and communicated better to young people what kind of benefits they can get and help them to have the correct benefits, because there is so many benefits. There is over 65 benefits in the Kela, so it's complicated
to navigate in that jungle of benefits.
Exactly.
It's a challenge, and especially if you are a young person that has never been dealing with this before, and also you might have some meltdown problems,
exactly.
Right? If you have the pressure to go and apply for these benefits is difficult.
Yes.
So how many people participated in this experiment?
1,500.
Wow, this is a big experiment. And did you have one group that participated and another that no? Or how do you evaluate that experiment, or how do you analyze if it went well or not?
We during this experiment, yes, we collected feedback from the young people when we were calling them and supporting them to fill in the benefit forms, And also we had this plan that was made together with young people that helped also to understand better what would be the next step, and to understand more clearly what benefits can be applied.
So, but was it a process of co-design when you have done this model?
It was co-designed with the project organization. That designed the different models that could be applied for the team that was in the experience bubble. My role was to provide different model examples, and then this project organization was selecting models for those ones that were working with the young people.
So this project organization has inside young people?
No, my role was to bring customers and young people's voices to the co-creation table. And that way I was helping this project organization to understand the young people's views better.
And how did you create them? Did you have some personas?
We have personas, and because this started so long time ago that we were already we had personas and vision for the customer experience and all kind of materials. But in this experiment, we wanted to try with the real persons how to gain a better customer experience.
And do you think, can we talk about the results? Do you have them already?
Yes, because I was responsible for the research. I was the one that was interviewing those young people, and I asked if they have noticed anything new about the Kela's performance, and I asked what kind of experience they have been, what kind of experience they had recently with the Kela. So the youngsters did not exactly know that this was experiment, but they know that Kela provide them this young service benefit and better service. They noticed that the Kela has been giving better service to them, and they have had their decisions. The young people had their decisions.
Decisions. Yeah.
Decisions, benefit decisions faster than previously, and they have more clearly
feedback or instructions.
They have se suunnitelma, joka näiden nuorten kanssa. Yes, the young people said that it is easier to understand what happens next because they have this plan that is made with Kela. And in that sense, these experiments was very important also to Kela, that we were talking in the beginning. We thought that it will take a long phone calls with young people to understand in what kind of situation young people is. But in the end of experiment, we find it's already bringing us a more efficient way of working.
And so I guess that now it's going to be the moment in which you are going to scale this experiment, right? If it has had so good results.
We don't know yet. The business or management doesn't had made the decisions yet. I guess we will find out later what is being done. and what, because it's also relates to who is the persons that are calling to young people. In the experiment, there was only limited amount of people that were connected to young people, and we understood that it takes empathy, and it has to be right person that it can be connected with those young people.
So do you think that being a mother of young people has helped you to talk with them?
Yes, I think, and also the mindset has to be flexible, and there has to be empathy towards the young people's lifestyle and way of thinking.
So you say that the experiment you have done with 1,500 persons, but how many they might be the ones of the target of this service?
Yes, because this started with the data analysis, and that's why we know that there is 20,000 youngsters that belong in this segment, and there is also other segments that have similar problems, but we don't know is this model is scalable to all of those segments, other segments too.
Perfect. But it's amazing that in a country like Finland, we have 20,000 young persons that are out of work and out of the school system, right?
Yes, and have been for a long time. And that's critical too.
Yeah. This interview is part of the list D&D in English, Gobierno y Diseño, Finlandia y Diseño. We could consider the laws and public policies, services for citizens or our society. Then it is easier to perceive the role of a service designer in the ministry, where I have worked till recently. But public policies and laws are documents, so everything that I do, it always has the shape of a PDF, a text that if we are lucky enough, it might contain some visualizations. Making these documents planet-centric, considering the environment, the more than human, other species, and the human, is not an easy challenge. This relates not only to the accessibility of the content, so people can understand and use it, but with the content itself. Are the proposals made thinking in the people, the other species, and the environment as a whole? How can design support that this happens? Participatory processes such as the creation of an experiment can be one of the possible venues, especially when the final implementation is for a human. We can try, prototype, and redesign. In the implementation of public policies where Taina is working, this is possible and designers have a key role in it. Making experiments is part of the design practice that is not so easy to develop and implement for a ministry. This is why we want to listen more about these endeavors and learn how we should replicate these practices also for the creation of new policies. Let's continue listening to Taina. Okay, now we can switch the topic and go to another. We know each other very well because we have been working in a network of service designers in the government sector in Finland. When did we start to work on that?
We started on 2017 or 16 already, over 5 years ago.
Wow, and what is the network doing?
We are over 450 and we are bringing in design thinking to government, and we work for inside our community, there is over 400 members from different government organizations.
Yes, there is municipalities, there is people coming from the national government and also from the ministries like me and from big public organizations as you. So something that we do very intensively is like peer support or peer learning, right? Because we have like weekly meetings. What do you think that we have learned out of these weekly meetings? Because we have had these weekly meetings for over 5 years now. And yeah, what do we do in them?
I think that it brings us together, and we can share our problems and challenges that we are having, and we can understand more clearly that in different organizations there is similar things that are influencing to our work, and it makes us a community that we share our problems there every Thursday morning.
Yes, so I understand that more or less once in a month or once in a month and a half, for example, we have one of these sessions in which we get to know each other and we tell each other what do we have in our desk. And then we have some thematic sessions in which we talk about one topic, many of us. Mm-hmm. No, so the topic might be, what were the topics of this type of thematic sessions?
For example, I have told about the data analysis and customer-oriented way of developing models.
We have one panel on environmental issues and how different organizations have tried to do like a strategic sustainability, right?
Yes, and learning as a team, that how the organizations learn and share their learning and try to get new ways of making things.
So are they 450 all designers, the ones in our network?
No, they are also design-minded specialists that are interested in design thinking but are not yet applying it in their work.
And what do you think that we have to do as a network in the future? And during the pandemic at times, it worked very well that we had a lot of online meetings.
But yes, I think that the community has to be active, and it helps to gain more power and efficiency. And that is why we should have face-to-face meetings more.
How do we? Do you think that through the face-to-face meetings we will get more efficient? Or?
Yes, I'm sure that we trust each other. We can share our materials in this network, and it is also important. But the learning starts also from there, that you will get to know each other and will trust other persons and can communicate with any issues.
One of the issues that has brought us trust is that we don't accept as part of the network people working in the private sector that are consultants, right? So there is many designers, especially service designers, that are hired by our organizations, but they are not governmental employees, but they are coming from a company. So do you think there is other issues that have also helped us to gain trust in these online dialogues? Because a lot of these Thursdays in which we meet, we have like sometimes 70, 60 persons per week. So that's a big number. So it's difficult to gain trust in online meetings where you get a lot of people to listen that you don't know.
Yes, it's difficult, but some of our members will just listen but they are not so active in this community, and I think that slowly they can start being more active, and but it it needs some processing, and they might not think that they are real designers because the company or organization might not allow them to, for example, be innovative and
or their title might not be the one of the designer, right? So they might have the education of a designers, but they didn't have the opportunity to practice it.
Exactly. And that is why we will continue raising the voice of design and also encourage people to use design methods in their work. And community is important to bringing in the knowledge of the methods that can be easily used.
Yeah. And also, for example, for me, it has been super important to be able to invite some of you to my own organization to tell what you were doing, because then my colleagues could better imagine what could be done or what I could do to support their work, because each of us, it's very different in their own organization. So even though we might have the same title as service designers, still what we do is very different. So I remember I have brought people that talked about experiments. When we do not do experiments, then it's a good thing that others know that, hey, designers can't lead experiments. And this is something that we want to see.
Yes. And in Kela, we have trained over 90 employees to service design in our in-house service design training. But that doesn't mean that all of those work as a service designers. And I think for example, one way to activate the community is to tell about these experiments of service design training, that they can do it in their own organizations too.
So you have now, for example, more trainings for other employees on service design.
We not in service design, but in customer experience and customer-oriented way of thinking. We have continued, and we feel like it should be more systematic inside Kela to have those trainings, and in that way help our business to thinking more about the customer.
Perfect. And so what inspires you? What are you reading, watching, listening that inspires your work?
Well, of course, design books helps us to get inspired. For example, this is Service Design Doing book is my Bible. That every time when I open it, I find new ways and that kind of methods that I might have forgotten. And it is good to also always try new methods and try to and not always do the same tricks, but always try to use new methods.
Well, yeah, they bring different perspective, but I also think that new methods makes us more motivating towards our work, no? It makes a little bit more creative.
Yes, indeed. And that is why I also follow some great designers. For example, you are one of them that inspires me. That of course I have been studying along my career, and you were one of my first teachers in Laurea, and
that was 11 years ago.
Some years ago, yeah, and I think that people are very important, inspiring me, and it is good when nowadays you have plenty of podcasts and websites that you can find inspirational people's texts and you can listen them. And I think that co-design is inspiring, but people
people and stories, no, around design.
Yes. stories around design.
So what is the change you want to see in the Finnish government in the future?
I hope that in the future people should be able to have more efficient and more simpler solutions in government.
Less bureaucracy, you would say?
Yes, I would say, and less systems to that has to be used. It is small country like Finland. There is too many complex systems that has to be used, and in the future I want to. In the future, I hope that there be less systems and happier people, and I would like to do meaningful work, and I would try to. In the future, I would hope that there will be better services and less systems in Finland government organizations.
And do you think this relates to design maturity?
Yes, I think it is definitely relates to, because now we are thinking through systems and hierarchies, and in the future, if we are seeing less hierarchies, there will be less systems too. You think?
You mean less hierarchies in the organizations?
And less organizations.
Also, yeah.
Also.
So then we are going to be working in a little bit more integrated manner.
Yes, I would like to see that we are unifying government organizations, maybe not in one organization, but less organizations.
Thank you. Interesting point of view. Thanks a lot for the interview. I learned by listening. I guess if you are listening to this podcast, this happens also to you. But learning is a slow process, in my opinion, even though we understand facts and arguments with our brains, and this is relatively fast. The process of appropriation and incorporation of the learnings in our daily lives takes long time and a lot of repetition. It also influences our learning how the arguments and the stories are explained. Some of us need a person with a strong personality that is able to reassure the good practices and the good results in a project. Some of us need a person that explains the details and the steps. Some of us need a honest and humble description of a process with an accurate analysis of the results. Through a variety of voices, we get a picture not only of what is going on in the design field now, but also the different ways to relate and describe a design project. These interviews are a narrative on design. The podcast is an oral archive on design stories that support the documentation of what is going on in the design field now. For me, it is a learning and a research tool. Taina did a fantastic job in telling us how design work can be done with care to the details without losing the big picture. This is a reminder, something that I need to listen to many times in order to be able to incorporate into my design practice and also my way to explain and describe what I do. As always, the music of the podcast is by Antonio Zimmerman. Sound design is by Andy Fecci. This podcast is published with Creative Commons license with attributions. This podcast has been recorded in Helsinki Open Waves, an audio studio in Kaisa Cultural Center, part of Helsinki City. Kaisa is a cultural center that promotes the development of Helsinki into a diverse city by means of the arts and culture. This was Diseño y Diáspora. You can follow us in our social media channels in YouTube, Instagram or Twitter, or visit our website. Remember to recommend us and recommend our books. Let's listen the next one.